Whew. Good morning.
Good morning.
Scano. Sorry about the delay, everyone. It's a busy time. It looks like it, right? It's I'm actually here at the center in Milton, and I'm looking at the garden. It looks so beautiful. So I'd just like to welcome you back, Roberta. Welcome all of our relatives who will be joining us for this conversation. It's been a while since we've been on the platform, and I think that's the evidence that we've been really busy. And so I'm really happy that we are continuing our conversations, continuing to build our relationship, and we're here to promote that, with the work that we're doing together and what's happening with you in the community. So again, Scano, it's nice to see you.
It's nice to be here. Yeah, nice to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty busy. It is busy time for us as well.
Yeah,
very
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in a good way too. So just acknowledging and bringing everyone together here in a good way too. We'll just acknowledge everyone that will show up today. We'd just like to say thank you for joining us and acknowledge this beautiful land that I'm on right now in Milton on the Mississaugas of the Credit Territory. And there's so much awareness right now, and I think, when we have these conversations, it reminds me of the conversations that I've had in the past with the elders, that there will come a time where the awareness will happen and everyone will wake up. Not everyone, but many will wake up. Many will wake up, and it's going to be our responsibility. And this is where I am really understanding what the elders have said to me, that it's your responsibility as an urban Indigenous woman, to be able to share as much as possible, as much awareness, as much, of your knowledge and experiences. I think experiences is what's really important. And this is why Grandmother's Voice and myself, when I got to know you, I said, like, how can we help? Like, since the TRC and everything that began, before 2010, I think, I don't know exact dates, but really starting to have those conversations and bringing forward the truth that no one talked about. It was how do we support people that are going to come forward and want to know more? And so this is why I said, like, how can we help you? What do you need? And not even help. How can we stand with you and support and amplify what you need? And that's when you said, hey, and this was back like 2 years ago, almost now, or a year and a half, when we started to do those speaker series. And you said, we've been, I feel like we've been left alone. They forgot about us. And this organization, this group of residential school survivors, you've called yourself We Are Still Here. You were selling T-shirts. You were, being called into schools and just really trying to keep your the memories so that you could teach the people about the history. And so I feel like, we're in this space and time, and we should really dedicate it to you. And we should dedicate it to the survivors so that they have that place and we can begin healing. So there's my little addition to kick off this morning.
Well, I think it's really an important time, because we would never have been listened to. Never. We wouldn't have been believed, when we were younger and we were still struggling to maintain just our lives, trying to move forward in the best way we could. And yet you're carrying this horrible history with you. It's part of your life. And so I think it's just that time. And now that people are beginning to wake up and themselves and listen, and it's not anyone's fault. They weren't meant to hear the truth. So now we have to be those voices. We'll tell you what we experienced. And I think there is genuine interest, because this is a part of history that is pretty shocking, even around the world. It's not just Canada, you know. How could this happen in this country, you know? But it has, and it has happened in other countries. So we're not alone there. It's just that the silence seems to be the one. The one thing that they had control over us in the Mush Hole even is keeping us quiet, you know, and it worked. We maintained that silence long after. But I see, you know, when I meet up with all the other survivors and I hear them, and I stand with all of them, because now is the time that we stand together. And when we stand together, there's strength. You know, it's not just me. I think of Jimmy, you know, Bud, Bill Sands, all these guys that have been horribly impacted, and the women. But the women, it's harder for the women to stand up. I don't really know, because I don't hear from a lot of them, and it is painful. It's a painful thing to ask them, you know, like to relive what you relived as a child that caused all that trauma. That's a pretty difficult thing to do. So for the ones that can stand up, I'm proud of those, you know, proud of the people. I'm proud of all of the survivors, not just the ones who are willing to, you know, put their voices out there, but just being able to even move forward in life, to function in life, given what they had gone through at the Mush Hole. And so here we are today, right, looking for the buried, like, children, you know, and we're just beginning that process. It's going to take time. So we can't really address everything, but we have a lot of people working with us, experts. And I think that's what we all have to wait for, is wait for all the evidence, wait for all the voices from them. They're the ones that are going to help guide us through this as well, because it's certainly not survivors who can do this on their own, you know. So we do need, like, the forensics and all the rest of that stuff that goes with it. So because it's a police investigation, we can all come together, we can work together, and our community will hear. You know, we got to give back that information to our community, because there's so many waiting, and not just this community at Six Nations, so many across Ontario, Quebec, in the north that are waiting to hear. And there's a lot of other First Nations that are starting that journey, whoever had the residential schools around their community. So it's all going to get looked at. You're not going to bury this anymore, you know. You can't. It's too important that we do our best to find out the truth. And that's all we've ever asked. Just tell us the truth, you know. And so there's a lot of records out there that need to come forward. And there's so much research involved in this, so much. You know, when you think of all the archives and how they've managed to, I don't know, store all the information on residential schools. It's not stored in one place. So it's a real chore, just trying to figure out where all the information is, you know, and then involving the church. So it's a big deal, really.
Yeah.
So that's where I am right now. I'm just like our survivor secretariat. We're just gathering together to make sure that the process is going the way it's supposed to go, so that we do hear the truth. And I truly believe that we will find out the truth, you know, finally, you know, even after the TRC was finished. It's like we were supposed to move on. How do you move on? You haven't had all the truth, you know, you just haven't. You're only beginning to hear the truth, and it's coming from survivors, you know. So this is a long road yet, but hopefully in our lifetime, we'll get a resolution to this somewhere. Yeah.
I'm sitting here and everything that you talk about, I'm like, oh yeah. There's pride. There's so much pride in everything that you're doing. There's so much, when we speak about this, I'm just thinking about, you know, my own healing journey, and thinking about, you know, words that come up when you're speaking, you know, when you're just beginning to speak about your truth and the truth of experience. And, you know, words of like that come to mind were like shame and blame. And, you know, and here we are, and my experiences with survivors one-on-one, because I'm so passionate about this, and wanting to support the survivors. I eat, breathe, and sleep it right now. And so many, no, really, it's for real.
Don't let it overwhelm you. That's all.
People that know me, you know, have known me for a long time, know that this is like, I'm in my Jody space right now. Like I've always been this part of wanting to be more in community. And I just am grateful, so grateful of my relationship with you, that we've grown and developed and continue to share this, because it's always healing every day. It's just one more little piece of healing to wrap around my own experiences. And so I'm grateful to have that opportunity. But in what I was getting at is, there's so much that you said in that little bit, that the reason why people continue to reach out to me personally and reach out to Grandmother's Voice and say, what can we do? What we want to do, we want to support the survivors. We want to know more. We want to know the truth, but we want to know there's just so much shame wrapped around this whole experience, and not just from the survivors, but from the average community, the non-Indigenous relatives that are out there that are saying, what can we do to be a part of this healing? And just being able to share this kind of content to keep people aware, and not from maybe that media perspective that, it's not necessarily the truth. They have to worry about how they deliver it. They have all of these guidelines that they have to follow through. And so being able to create this platform and this space to provide that space for you is why we do this, so that we can all move together. And you're just so courageous. I know that word. You're just like, with experience with women, we just barrel through things in life. And from what my conversations have been with some of the elders and women in particular, is that, I'm at the end of my, the last, 10 years, maybe the last decade of my life, who knows what. Why am I going to bring it up now? Right? Yeah, I hope it's a lot longer than that. But in my mind, one particular that said, why am I going to bring this healing or this up for the rest of my family? Or why am I? But you need to look at that to heal it, right? You need to know it to heal it. And I think, like you say this all the time, the voices of the ones that have come forward to tell their story and to really take this place, like you and Dawn and a few of the others that are secretariats and moving in this space, you are the voices, and people can actually watch this and heal. They feel comfortable in that space. So I just wanted to acknowledge how amazing you are, and being able to open up this space and platform for people to join and heal alongside.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that even as we reach out and we talk about these things, that more people will come on board. And if they're interested, that would be something we could do in the future, have other survivors from other communities, just to have conversations on, it could be anything really, and how their lives have been. It's been really difficult keeping these secrets all this time, where people didn't talk about it. It's a really heavy burden to put on people. And yet that's what we learned from childhood, is to be quiet. That's what I mean. It's a lot of weight to carry, but now I'm hoping that people will feel a lot more free to speak, because there isn't anything else that they can do to us. Mm-hmm. The truth. We just need to hear the truth, and I think people are listening. People will understand what happened to children across this country, Indigenous children, through residential schools. It was meant to be. Somebody had a purpose, and that's the thing is, it's not like we did this to ourselves. Where are all these other voices? Like the church. Where's the government? Where's Indian Affairs? They're the biggest part of this, or we wouldn't have had these schools to begin with. It's that. Somewhere along the line, things got corrupted and people got greedy and found a way where they could basically capitalize and enrich their selves on residential schools. Like, to me, it's like about land. Like I've always said, it's about land and resources. Why are we in the predicament we're in? Mm-hmm. Still fighting for those lands, for those monies, that belong to Six Nations. We shouldn't even be fighting over that. It should be open. It should be a discussion that, should be free, to sit down at a table and discuss these things. How can we help, knowing what has been done to you and your people. How can we help? But I don't hear those. I don't hear anybody coming forward saying, I take responsibility for what has been done. I've never heard that. I've heard the apologies, I'm sorry, but now moving forward, what else can you do? Come and sit at the table, come and have discussions with us, is to, how do we move forward in a better way, in a good way, where people aren't harmed, where children aren't harmed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. And I'm with you on that. I think it's so important. And I actually mentioned that in while creating this poster this morning for sharing this time with you, that everything that we're moving forward, you're moving forward with preparing. I want to say preparing for when you can build around the space, right? The Woodland Cultural Center, which has given that the land, right? The five acres, I think it was. Is it 5 acres? Yeah.
Yep.
Around surrounding. And, it's not coincidental that the time is now where your voices are amplified. You're starting to raise the money for your park, which is a really big amount. And your vision was really over the last 10 years, raising all of this money, trying to raise money to build a park around this lands, and it needed to be done. So we needed to, right? They needed to make sure that they're not building on top of graves or
and so that part will be done. I think one of the things is that it's a memorial park. What people have to really remember is this is a memorial park that we're trying to build. The park itself is the memorial. It's to remember the children, to honor the children who went there, the ones who never came home. So it is significant in this time, is that this park needs to be there because it will be a memory. It's not saying that what was done was good. It absolutely isn't. Because any memorial, like I said before, any memorial is to remember some point in history of what happened, what events happened that you need to remember them. Why is it so important to remember them? And this is the time.
Yeah. This is I have to share this. It's sometimes hard to keep up with comments that are made, but Chris, if you don't mind, I'm going to share this. Chris Silvermoon just shared a beautiful message. And I really, this is what I hear a lot from our non-Indigenous community members that come. I take responsibility for the ancestors who I come from. And that is such a deep meaning to Indigenous people. And because then you understand, and that's what's coming forward right now is the people that are showing up, even at our center here in Milton, that we know when the elders came here to do ceremony, they said that this is a place of healing and reconciliation, and the people will come. And that's what we have been so overwhelmed with people coming here, showing up right to the door, going right to this garden that was created in the shape of a longhouse, and energies from, not just Haudenosaunee, but also, Anishinaabe, and, even some of the Huron, the Wendat people, like they're all in this community, and they've been coming here, and they say that this is the time, and it's time to open up, and so that the people can come. And so our non-Indigenous community members are here to say, like, what can we do? What we want to do, we want to be here to support. So we're really grateful to be able to have created that space that we're all coming together. And so just kind of speaking about coming together, we are doing our very first Indigenous artisan and maker gift fair. And that was the actually title of it was, created by Grandmother Renee. And really we were talking about the winter solstice, and that we're just coming into a really big time of change. And, the solstice being when the grandmother moon and grandfather sun, visit. And so that's what we have created this space for, and also to give us this opportunity to invite the We Are Still Here group back, so that you can sell your some content that you like, some things that you had been gifted to do fundraisers on. And because of COVID, it's been hard to get that out there. And so we're just, again, creating this space for you to visit with us, and then for everyone to come and visit the center. And so we're going to have a really beautiful weekend planned. We'll have the fire. We're going to have some, tea and hot chocolate by the fire, and the center is going to be open, and a few other activities that family members can come, and some just some crafts for the kids, and it's going to be in the barn. And we're just inviting everyone to come and visit and support the table and the space that we've given to the We Are Still Here group, your group, Roberta, because this is what it's about. Why should you have to work? We were saying like that. You're like, we don't have time to go and sell tickets and do all this stuff. Like, we want to, but we want to create this space so that people can come and donate and support you. Yeah, you're on mute.
There you go. Yeah, there's a couple of things going on right now. We have an online art auction, and it's connected to the Mohawk Village Memorial Park website. It's just mohawkvillagepark.com. So we are selling some online, but we have a lot of things. One of the things that I have is about 10 canes that John Elliott, one of our survivors, has made. He's got some carvings on them. He's hand painted them. So I'll be bringing those along with John Elliott.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that, because I know, I know that there are people that want one.
Really? That's good.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think it's just like letting people know that you'll be here for a visit, and there's just so much. There's just so much that we have been doing, even just the conversations that we have regularly, and what our plans are for the new year, really supporting the work that we're doing in community, but also with you. And I just want to mention, I think I recently you were on with the poem. Speak about Jimmy Edgar's poem.
Oh, Jimmy. Yes, yeah. And I hope everybody got to hear it when Jimmy read it himself. That's the one you're talking about?
So good on CBC Radio. That was so good.
That was November the 17th. And at the very end of that interview with Dawn and I, and it was quite a good interview. And he introduced Jimmy Edgar, who was at the Mush Hole when I was there, and he was there 10 years. Well, to me, 10 years is a life sentence at the Mush Hole. Mm-hmm. He read it, but it's his voice. He's got a really powerful voice, but he also, you can hear the emotion in it, how it still impacts him. Now he's working on another one. So we'll be hearing from Jimmy again.
He's so cool. He's like, come on, Jody. And I've had great conversation with him, and what, who he is. And so we were talking about that, because several teachers, we had several community members reach out and say, like, where's that poem? How can I find it? So we're actually working with him and our trademark lawyer to kind of help him get that out there, and it would be a great piece.
Yes.
Somebody had mentioned to us it would be a great piece to have in the education realm and curriculum, because he, in that, touches on so many pieces of things in society that really need to be addressed. Mm-hmm. Right? Are you okay?
Yeah. It's what Jimmy wanted. He just said he didn't want people make profiting off of his words. What he wants to do is just to educate and inform what it was like, what had happened in his life because of this, So it's a life, to me, like I say, it's lifelong damage and harm. So, but he's at least one of the few that can address all of these things, but through poem and some powerful words. So
beauty. And also I'd like to just acknowledge at this time our event that we had September 30th, and in the work that we've done with your Mush Hole voices, will say, bringing awareness, allowed us in collaboration to purchase a guitar for Jimmy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Your group and Grandmother's Voice, we bought Jimmy an amazing guitar so that he could get back to doing what he loves to do, which is sing. And he shared in his story that when we got to know him, he shared that he had to sell his guitar to, kind of make ends meet. And so when we found that out, it was like top priority. And I just like to shout out to Rhonda Snow, who's we are good friends with her, and she's an Anishinaabe artist from Fort Francis. And when I was telling her what we were doing, she said, you know, Jody, like, cause we had some of her art here and some of her work. And she said, I want to help the survivors as much as possible. You know, she has her story as well. So she was a big part of donating in with Grandmother's Voice and a lot of the other earth walkers that we call that have come forward and said, we want to support what Grandmother's Voice is doing. And what we're doing is just really engaging with Indigenous people, amplifying each other, supporting each other, holding each other up, standing shoulder to shoulder, all those good things. And so we want to continue to support any way that we can, and just continue to build relationship and continue to be that bridge that connects people, so we can really do the healing that you know, the elders said this is the time we're in right now to move forward and heal. So is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, but I'm looking forward to this weekend. We'll bring probably 3 or 4, maybe 4 people or more.
Amazing.
To help out. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to be there and to meet new people, and, you know, to help. Maybe there's a lot more that once they meet some of the survivors and talk to them, they'll be, you know, pass the word around. We're looking for support. You know, we are looking for support for the park. Absolutely. So we do our best, you know, with fundraising, but it's not easy. But it's like John Elliott said, he's 85. He said, I want to see this park in my lifetime, you know, so we got to get going. we got to help John.
Yeah. And there's a few, I guess, campaigns that we're running right now too. And the weekend when people are here, they'll see where we are probably starting to think about the holidays and, you know, those that are in need and whatever that looks like. So there'll be spaces and places within our event that people, you know, if they really want to give back, there'll be places, everything you know, the vendors are all Indigenous. They're all from around Ontario. I just got off the phone with one of our artists. I'm really excited to have her product here and her presence, but it's going to be pretty jam packed with some amazing people and products to sell, and, you know, just give support, and really just thinking about, you know, any of the, you know, the people that will need some support through these holidays, because I think we're getting to that challenging time, right? Where people, I think it's just what society has created, this like anxiety around holidays. Not everybody is happy, you know, that Christmas is coming or the season is coming. And those are the realities as we learn as a society about mental health and understandings. And so I think we're just in a really great time to be aware, and how can we, you know, support each other more. And so we're really excited to open up this space here on Tremaine and 401 in Milton. It's really showing to be a place of community. Yeah. And we're just really honored to do this together.
Yeah. We'll see where we go from here, right?
Yeah.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Chris, what do you need an online link for? So she just asked me for an online link. So while I'm live, I might as well ask her. We have the Mush Hole Village. You can find that. That's for the donation to Memorial Park. That is so important. Every time we talk about anything, that's the vision of the We Are Still Here group. The bill that like, I guess the cost of this park is going to be in the $3 million mark. So we're just going to keep plugging at that and doing it everything that we can. The Indigenous artists, you can actually follow our Instagram, and we're doing every day. They're doing a spotlight on all of the artisans that are going to be at our center. They've been doing it for about a week. Shout out to Monica. She's doing a great job. Everything that's happening at Grandmother's Voice is by volunteer, even myself, just so everyone knows. Right. This is people coming forward and really wanting to make a difference in society. And you know, we're amplifying each other and holding each other up. And that's what this is all about. So thank you so much for joining us, Roberta. I love it. I think that we're going to do a live together on Friday when you come here and we start loading. We're going to be showing everyone what's happening here. I'm just going to show right now because I'm right here, and what I'm looking at is our beautiful park. Can you see it? The garden, I mean. Can you see the garden? I know you're familiar with the garden.
Yeah.
Oh, it just looks so beautiful right now. And we have visitors all the time. I'll be sitting here and people will just walk up and in, and it's really wonderful. And I'm excited to see you this weekend, Roberta. Oh, one more thing to let you know, and maybe you can let your group know. We were offered by an organization, Zuchi, which is an Asian organization, and they're going to have some Chinese doctors here on the weekend to support all of our Indigenous community and Indigenous elders with a little bit of, acupuncture and some of the stuff that they do. And everyone is coming forward. They want to support.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fun.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. So we'll see you soon. I'll see you on Friday. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
Ona. Yeah.